Check, check. This is Stu and you're listening to the Cage Clinic. We are here in beautiful Barrie, Ontario, Canada, in the home of Big Daddy Gary Goodridge. Gary, welcome to the show.
Welcome, thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you for having us in your home. I really appreciate it. Now, in 2012, you published an autobiography entitled Gatekeeper, The Fighting Life of Gary Big Daddy Goodridge. It's a very honest and fantastic read. At what point did you decide to write a book and why?
At the end of my career, I really thought that I had what was the makings of a good story. And although I left out a lot of stuff out of the book, I may come back with another one and throw it in. It might piss a lot of people off. But I thought I had enough information for a story, so I did. A friend of mine named Mark Dorsey and myself got together and wrote the book in no time at all.
Awesome. Honestly, coming from me, it's very candid. You're very honest, and it's quite enjoyable. I've read it twice now.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now, how important was your background in arm wrestling in regards to getting into fighting?
You know what? Anything that you can do and that you become good at, in terms of you become a champion. Like I was 11-time world champion. So anything that you can steal the fame from, not really steal, but get the momentum. That's probably a better word. Anything that you can get the momentum from, champions will always be champions. People that aren't champions will always be there as well too. You have to take the mental stability of always being on top, being a champion, and move to something else.
Now, in your book, you said that you lied your way into the UFC. Can you explain what you meant when you said that?
Oh, well, we watched, I think it was UFC 3 or 4 on TV, and a couple friends of mine, they saw on screen the paraphernalia. You want to buy UFC shirts or hat or whatever come up on TV. So we called in there, and my friends called in there. I didn't want anything to do with it, so they finally got in touch with a guy named Art Davies that I later called.
We've had him on the show. He's fantastic as well.
He is a great man.
He's
I
a
love
trip.
the guy. He's a super guy. I love Art. And we got in touch with Art Davies, and when we called Art Davies, about an hour or 2 hours before that, he saw me arm wrestling on TV, and he says, "Oh, is this Gary Goodridge? I just saw you on TV. Man, this was meant to be." And he said, "You spoke well. UFC has a place for you." So I really was me not being gangster on. Well, I'm not talking like crap, and I spoke well, and he was appreciative of it and put me on.
Now, how did you lie to get in the UFC?
I lied by brushing on my record, black belt this, champion that. And of course, the early days in UFC, I mean, only 7 had went by since I got in. I got in UFC 8. So they believed you or they had to go check it. And I think it was too hard for them to go check it. I was starting with black belt, hell. The only black belts I had were holding on my pants up.
That's awesome. Now, did you get hooked on fighting after getting that first quick UFC win against Paul Herrera?
You know what? After I got hooked on fighting because it happened so quick. Yes, but there was a lot of emotions, a lot of power, a lot of energy went into that first match, and I'm so sorry for Paul because he really is a nice gentleman. I just never had to give it a time to know him. I just had an anger on, and I thought Tank Abbott was racist, and Paul Herrera was with Tank Abbott, so he's racist. So I got to beat everybody racist,
So basically, it was a mental thing.
It was a mental thing. My corner just kept on feeding me garbage or always homer, and they were doing this and they were doing that, and all racist things just to get inside of my head.
Now, after that win, is that what hooked you to fighting?
No, that's when I won the last match. Well, I didn't win the last match. I lost to Don Fry. But when I went to the last match, and then they gave me $10,000 for beating up people. Hey, it was easy. I was hooked. $10,000 for beating people up, no problem.
Awesome. Now, why did you never return to the UFC after UFC 19?
I got a call from a guy named Kyoji Kawasaki from in Japan, and we're still good friends today. I still text him today, and we share stuff on Facebook. He called me and he says, "Gary-san, I have Pride is beginning to open a new thing here, and we would like you to come to here. And, you know, I've never heard of Kawasaki, and I thought it was fake, to be honest with you. So then next thing you know, I'm on a plane heading for Japan to fight in Pride 1. That's really what happened. It just, everything went so quick.
How was the crowd for Pride 1 and like their reaction after the win?
Oh man, you know what? The crowd is incredible in Pride because everyone knew everything, or at least they seemed like they did. What happened was you do something and everyone at the same time, everybody at the same time inside of the auditorium when they always have the fights. Man, you can hear a dog fart at 50 yards. You heard a dog fart at 50 yards because nobody would say nothing. There was no booze, there was no cheering, until there was something big happened.
Pride FC is still loved by many people. Why do you think that Pride is still very popular even after the rampant steroid and drug use, the fight fixing, and the favoritism being involved in the promotion? Like I remember in your book you mentioned Vanderlei Silva. He would come in overweight and they'd let him slide on stuff.
Yeah. You know what? Pride was synonymous in the game. It helped them move the game forward. It was just they were raw. They were raw. They were the last cutting edge of everything. They were raw, and a lot of people like the rawness. And, get somebody down and stomp in their face. But we can't have things that way. So things went on. Everybody liked the rawness about Pride. It was just great. I loved it too.
Have the great memories and great fights overshadowed those negatives that I mentioned earlier?
You know what? Yeah, it did. The negatives are negatives. You can be God, you can be Jesus Christ, and people still find negative to harp on. That's the way how it is.
Yeah, and that's why Pride's so revered. All those great memories, it was a spectacle, basically,
Yes.
what it was.
Exactly it was.
Now, in your book, you name guys like Gilbert Ivel, Vanderlei Silva, Rampage Jackson, Tank Abbott, and Phil Baroni as some of your favorite fighters to watch. For most of them, they're at either the end of the career or they're done. Who do you enjoy watching these days?
I like Big Rig. I like Big Rig.
Johnny,
I love Big Rig. I love the way he fights. He's all about business. I'm a Canadian boy. I hate watching George St. Pierre. I really do. I have nothing against him. He's a great person, but as a fighter, he needed to leave. I'm glad he took a step back because I just hate watching him fight.
Are there any other up-and-comers you enjoy watching?
You know what? People that bring the fight. People that bring the fight and take it right to the end and stay on the end, hang on and try to win, rather than trying to hang on to people and stay in their guard. Who wants to stay in somebody else's guard? I don't want to stay in anybody's guard. I want to knock you out on your feet, and that's what I have a problem with. That's all. So I have problems with that. I'm old school.
Who's the toughest fighter you ever fought?
Oh man, the toughest fighter I ever fought would be probably Don Fry. He's just a guy that you beat him down, he's still trying to win. A lot of people they melt. They melt as soon as you start beating them. They melt a little bit, and they melt a little more, and then they run off. The whole time I fought Don Fry, he was always trying to beat me.
That's funny you say that because you've literally fought a who's who of everyone, including Fedor Emelianenko.
Yeah. Don Fry would be the toughest. He's a tough hombre.
You just look at him and. Just looking at him, you have to respect him, just by the way he looks.
Yes, exactly.
Now, after Pride, you switched a lot of your attention to K1 kickboxing. What do you consider to be your biggest K1 win?
The biggest K1 win probably, I had some really nice wins. Maybe Mike Bernardo, God rest his soul.
That's where I'm going next, actually.
I really enjoyed fighting Mark Bernardo, and there's another guy, Glabe Fatoza. I didn't win. I fought him twice. I didn't win, but those are monumental fights in my mind that will stand out till the day I die.
Yeah, I know in your book you mentioned being really proud of the fights with Peter Aerts.
Yes, Peter Aerts. Oh my goodness, Peter Aerts it's just to fight this guy. You got to deal with a lot of pain. It was like somebody pouring hot water on your skin and the skin melting off, and you still had to keep going. It was the most pain I ever had in my life.
You mentioned earlier Mike Bernardo. Was he your biggest rival?
Yeah, you know, he died being a rival still. You know, when he passed away, God rest his soul.
Yeah, that was my next question. What did you think upon hearing about his death?
I was saddened. I was saddened because we had such monumental fights and competition between us both, and I was saddened that I wouldn't get old and he wouldn't be around to shoot the shit with. I was very sad. Still sad.
Now, at one of your K1 fights, you met Muhammad Ali. When you briefly met him at the event, what did he tell you?
Oh man, Muhammad Ali, the #1 thing in my life. That's one of the best. I mean, I met Bruce Willis. I met the who's who when I was fighting. But Muhammad Ali was the #1 thing. The only thing I really wanted to, you know, Mike Tyson was right beside Muhammad Ali, and I skipped Mike Tyson. I kind of didn't see him. Well, I knew he was there, but I pretend I was so focused on Muhammad Ali. I just went up to him and embraced him. We had an embracement. He's like, "Who's this kid on me?" You know. But he just saw me fighting, so he knew who I was. But I felt it was a good feeling, and he whispered in my ear, "You're one tough nigga," and that's the only thing he said to me. And yeah, it was good. It was a good feeling.
What is it like? What was it like to win the K1 USA World Grand Prix? I believe in Hawaii, right?
Yes, I won in Hawaii. You know what? Again, it's a lot of pain, and it's finally something you did something right. You know, I beat 3 guys in one night. You finally did something right. You finally won a championships. It was huge.
Did you enjoy working for New Japan Pro Wrestling?
You know what? I don't really enjoy pro wrestling. I know I'm sorry to all the people that are gonna listen to this and think that I'm an ass, but I don't like pro wrestling. The guys look great. I mean, they pump their bodies up to make them look like superstars or Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I really don't like pro wrestling.
Now, you mentioned, do you have good respect for him? Because you mentioned all the wear and tear it takes to be a pro wrestler.
Oh, yes. They do things every night. Whereas a fighter, you can fight maybe 4 to 6 times a year, period. Wrestlers do it every night. They can do 30, I don't know, 2 months they can fight 7, 8 times in 2 months. And for a fighter, you know, I'm blackening your eye, I'm busting your teeth, I'm knocking it out, I'm breaking your bones. A wrestler, you can't do that. They don't do that because it looks bad, it looks badass. You're picking people up and slamming them, but no, it's a show.
In all your travels, where in the world was your favorite place to fight and why?
Oh man, I love Japan. I love Japan because the people recognized me and saw me as their champion, as their people, and I truly enjoyed it. That was my favorite, I love fighting Japan. I love fighting for Japan people.
Did you ever think MMA would turn into the global phenomenon it has become?
You know what? I truly never thought about it. And people had the premonition behind me because I said as I was fighting, you know, Cal Worsham. I'm good friends with Cal Worsham. Cal Worsham said, we started a brand new sport, and he used to tell me this like 13 years ago. I'm like, nah, I thought, no, we didn't start shit. You know, I didn't know that it was gonna get as big as it did. I'm happy that it did. You know, the guys are now starting reaping the rewards of everybody else that laid down before them.
Now, you fought in Pride where the steroid use was rampant, yeah. Basically. How do you feel about drug testing and the banning of TRT use going on today in MMA?
You know what? I feel that's a good thing. You know, if you give somebody an edge, anything. If anybody's an athlete, if you're an athlete and you don't try steroids and you don't try TRT or you don't try SRT and PRP and whatever the hell else they have, then do you really want to win? I feel that if you're an athlete deep down inside, you want to do absolutely everything to get that win, to be faster, be better than whoever else is beside you. So I think the ban is good, but I also think that if if you didn't try it or try to beat the test or try to beat this, then you're really not an athlete. Athletes, we try to get the best out of our bodies. If you feed your body TRTs, all different kinds of steroids, that's what people do to get better. So it's a huge thing, but it's not as big as everybody thinks it is. I think that how everybody has a drive to be the best, and if drinking more water is gonna make you better, or drinking steroids is gonna make you better, you're gonna try it. If you don't try that, then how good are you? How good do you want to be?
What was the most you ever paid for a fight in your career?
That paid for a fight?
That you were paid.
Oh, $150,000.
For which fight?
I was paid $150,000 for I think the Don Fry fight, the last fight I had with Fry.
When you knocked him out with a head
Yes,
kick?
the bad kick, yes.
Cool. How's your health now, and what are you doing with yourself these days?
My health now is I suffer from early onset of dementia. A lot of people think, oh man, he's terrible. Like, oh, he can barely talk, or they don't understand who I am. But you know what? The early onset of dementia is that I've been knocked out 14 times in my fight, in my whole fighting career. You know, so because you get knocked out once, you're gonna have problems with that once. If you get knocked out again, it compounds what's going wrong with your head. So yeah, I mean, I stayed in a fight game long, and I fought to win every time. So in order to beat me, I had to knock me out, or if I'm gonna knock you out. So I've been knocked out 14 times, and I suffer from early onset of dementia. I'm a great guy. My personality has changed a little bit, so people tell me, but I don't see that, and I'm good.
How about your body physically?
My body physically, I'm fat. I'm sitting around 275 pounds. I fought at 242 pounds, so I'm a little chunky, but I'm okay.
All right. I really appreciate you inviting us to home, and I kind of hope you write another book. I'd love to hear all the more details and stories you have. But you can check out Big Daddy Gary Goodridge at Big Daddy Fight on Twitter, and you are on Facebook as well, right?
Yes, I am on Facebook. I have I think 3 or 4 Facebook accounts. I'm trying to get into one. I have many believe in the 2 of them, but I'm still around.
We really appreciate your time and having us here.
No problem. I'm glad for being here. Now I'm really excited about seeing the fights tonight. Hey, what I wanted to say thanks to Bellator for giving me tickets for tonight. They gave me 2 tickets for tonight, me and my lady. I'm going to go to Bellator, and I'm going to hope that some good fights happen. I'm sure they will.
Well, we'll see you right in Rama, which is how far here? Like an hour, maybe?
No, Rama, are you crazy?
Is it even closer?
It's a half hour.
Half hour away. All right, we'll see you over there tonight, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, sir. Nice meeting you guys.